another sunny day.
Hey guys, welcome back to Yellow Shoelaces. Can you believe it? We are nearing the end of July. We're heading into August. What happened to summer? Did you guys enjoy it? I feel like we went from severe heat to severe thunderstorms. I don't feel like we've had a moment to just go outside and go, this is comfortable. It was like two extremes. And don't get me wrong, I love the heat. Well, I used to love the heat. I considered myself a sun goddess, but I was really humbled this summer because I've come to the realization that I could go 75 with a slight breeze. Before, I was like, no, I love the heat. You can't tell me anything. You'd never hear me complaining about the heat. Well, I was complaining about the heat this summer. It was intense. My God. I didn't even know how to feel some days because it was just so intense. The sun just beaming on you. And a few times I stepped outside to, run some errands, and I couldn't handle it. And then, you come home, and later in the evening, you have this downpour with some flooding in some areas, and then the lightning and the thunder. Now, I do like the rain, and I know it was heavy rain, but I don't mind it if I'm in the house and I'm not like soaking wet. I don't even mind the thunder and lightning so much because, I'm safe in the house, so I'm not going to get hit. The cats, not so much. They were really freaked out by the thunder because sometimes it was so loud, like it just shook you to your core. It was that intense. So hopefully August will bring us some cooler weather. And I know August normally is the month that it gets extremely hot. July, not so much, but we had a really hot July. So I'm thinking maybe August will, show us a little bit mercy. I'm hoping. Okay, so what was my week like, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. Monday, I attempted to see Mission Impossible, and that did not happen. I won't forgive the airplanes, guys, going by the house. I'm sure you can hear that. So back to Mission Impossible. So went to go see that, got the tickets and everything, and get to the theater. We're like 15 minutes early. I like to see the previews before the previews, where they're doing trivia and just showing you bits and pieces of movies that's coming up before they show you the actual preview. So, I kind of enjoy that. So I get to the theater, we check in and go into the concession area, get the popcorn, get the drinks, then walk into the actual theater and sit down, getting ready. Now, before I got into the theater, I did notice a sign on a door that said that they were having HVAC problems, and it's the heating and cooling system. It didn't read that there would not be a movie playing. It just read that there was no air conditioning. And I just figured, okay, there's no air conditioning, but we're still going to watch the movie. I don't know what type of rules they have that would make it so that you can't watch a movie if there's no air. I don't know the rule. But when I walked into the actual theater, it was cool. It wasn't hot. It was cool. So I just assumed that they'd still play the movie. No. So we're sitting there and I'm like, all right, it's cool. We're still early, but there are no previews playing, which I thought was odd. There was another time I was in a theater, and, the same thing happened, only there was sound but no picture. So I had to go out to customer service. They rectified it within a matter of minutes. But this time I'm like, here we go, something's going on. So I said, I'm giving them 5 minutes past the start time. Maybe they're just having issues with the previews, so I'll suck it up and watch the movie, complain about it later, which I would have done. So the 5 minute past the showtime mark is up, and then I go out to customer service. And she was a doll, absolute doll. But I explained to her that, there's no movie playing. So she tells me, there's an HVAC problem. And I'm like, oh, I understand that. But there's no movie playing. She goes, I know, but I'm telling you, there's no movie playing because there's no air conditioning. So I'm like, well, nobody said anything. Now, again, there's like 15 other people in the theater. And, people are still coming in. So they didn't stop selling tickets for this movie, So how are we supposed to know that? I'm thinking like they should have had cones in the door or something like that. So she lets me know that she will find another theater for me, or, we can stay for the latest show, which I wasn't going to do because I came early specifically so that I can just have the rest of the day to myself. And, I was like, you know what, let me think about it. And me thinking about it meant I'm going to go back into the theater, make an announcement to everyone else in there that we are not watching this movie. Surprisingly enough, they weren't angry. You would expect some people like, oh man, cursing a little and just upset, but they, were really easy going about it. And I'm guessing because it was early in the day and it was Monday, maybe, I don't know. But they filed out really nicely. And, I told them what the options were. So I believe, some of them may have went to another theater to see the movie, which I wasn't going to do. So, waited in line to speak with her. So, I was just kind of letting her know, like, look, I understand that it's a air conditioning problem, but, the sign didn't read, that there would not be a movie playing, and maybe you should put some cones or something in front of the door so people are just like not coming in. Because as we were standing in line, to get refunds, there were still people going into the theater, you know what I'm saying? Like running late or whatever, but they were still coming in. Now, I can't say for sure if they were still selling tickets, at the theater. I don't know that for a fact, but people were still going into the theater. So regardless, minimum, they should have had cones or something in front of the door. So, I get up to the counter, it's my turn. And, she's offering, a refund or option to see it in another theater or to see it later at that theater again. And I was like over it already. I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll just take the refund. Now, mind you, I was like wrist deep in popcorn because as soon as I get my popcorn and I sit down, it's a done deal. Like I'm just all in. And you guys know how I feel about my popcorn. So I just told her no. I want the refund. And she was like, well, we'll refund your concessions too. Oh yeah, jackpot. And I get to keep my popcorn and take it home. Yes, we are doing that. I've never had popcorn to take home because I usually finish half of it by the previews, and then the second half, is gone, maybe 10 minutes before the movie ends. So I've never actually enjoyed my popcorn at home. So this time I got to take my popcorn home with me and sit in the pool and have movie popcorn. And I think I told you guys before, they actually sell, AMC sells popcorn. So you can have like Uber Eats, pick it up for you. Apparently the popcorn is that good. And I will attest, it is that good. But anyway, so she refunds my popcorn and drinks. And not only that, but she also gave me passes for another theater viewing for whatever movie I want, whenever I want, which I thought was pretty cool. So she was a doll, she, went above and beyond to accommodate. So I can't say anything bad about, customer service other than, cone should have been in front of the door. That would be my only gripe. And it's not really a gripe. It's just, an observation. Put a cone in front of the door so people won't go in there and then come out kind of like, So I went home happy with popcorn and just, enjoyed the rest of the day in the pool because it was really hot on Monday as well. So today, which is Saturday, decided I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try to see Mission Impossible again, which was a success. So we got to use the free passes that they gave us to view it. Now, I'm not going to tell you too much about Mission Impossible because I don't know if you have seen it and I don't want to spoil it for you. But I will tell you this. Before the opening credits, it was just on and popping. I mean, just you were into the movie. And so the credits start, after about maybe 10 minutes, into the movie, the credits start. And I never noticed before, it's a Tom Cruise production. So I was like, hey, go ahead, Tom Cruise. Now, I like me some Tom Cruise, but I was just really impressed because he looks amazing and he did an amazing job. And when I tell you that he is just so giving in this movie, and I think most movies, but particularly this movie, I felt that he gave everyone a chance to shine. And don't get me wrong, every character in this movie, I mean, they're a star in their own right. I mean, I don't think they need Tom Cruise to be who they are, but we know Tom Cruise is that big sell ticket. But he was so accommodating. Like when you watch him in action, you would just be like, damn, like everybody had an opportunity to shine in this movie, and you were connected with each character, with each of them. You were into their story. So I just took that from it when I left, like, damn, like he's just so giving and just calm and just like accurate, with his acting and his compassion for his crew, his fellow actor. It felt amazing. Now, there was some, bang, bang, shoot 'em up scenes. Of course, it's Mission Impossible. But I felt that it was more of a storyline that was very easy to follow. And it made sense, to be Mission Impossible. Now, we see other movies. I'll say like John Wick, for instance, which I love John Wick. But when you see John Wick, you know what it is. It's going to be gunfighting, most of the movie. It's going to be heavy gunplay. You get some hand-to-hand stuff. A little conversation, but we know the story, but the majority of the movie is going to be bang, bang, shoot 'em up type stuff. But with Mission Impossible, I felt that it was so much dialogue. You just sat and you listened and you just wanted to know what was going on with each one of these characters individually and how we got here and what was going to happen, like literally on the edge of your seat when these scenes were taking place. Even without the gunplay, it was just amazing anticipation. Oh my God, this is going to happen. What are they going to do? How are they going to get out of this situation? It's almost kind of like Jack Bauer 24. And I just recently started watching that again. Someone told me about it some years back, but I caught it in the middle. So I restarted it just recently, and it was just that kind of on the edge of your seat. How is he going to get out of this situation? What can they do? So that's how I felt Mission Impossible was. Now, I know the old Mission Impossibles, like back in the day, and I never really watched them. But I felt like everything that was done was justified. Even some scenes where you're like, come on, really? Like in another movie, it wouldn't make sense. You're like, how are they going to get out of that situation? Like, that didn't make any sense. But for Mission Impossible, it made sense because, yes, it's Mission Impossible. So it made sense. So I didn't leave there feeling like that was just too much. That was overly done. Like they didn't have to do that. They did because it's Mission Impossible. You know what I'm saying? So there was a point where I had to go to the restroom, and I did not want to leave because I felt like I was going to miss something so entertaining and not necessarily crucial, but just entertaining, and I didn't want to miss anything. So I tried to time it so they were having another dialogue session that I can scurry out, go to the restroom, and come back. Now, the part that I missed, I'm not even going to tell you because I feel like it's going to give away, but it was something that you could easily catch up on within like 30 seconds if you have a good person near you to say, all they said was this. You can easily catch on and, you didn't miss anything. Yeah, so I felt like the part that I did miss, it was just an explanation of a piece about why they were where they were, why it was happening. So it was just very brief, maybe 4 minutes tops. But I'm going to say to you, hands down, that movie was just beginning to end mesmerizing, magnificent. The acting was superb. Tom Cruise, I'm telling you, this man definitely legend. Now, I like him as an actor. I don't necessarily, well, I wouldn't say I would see all his movies in a theater, but some of them are kind of made for TV-ish for me. Like I would see him at home. And, there are some movies that are made for the theater. This movie right here, definitely made for the theater, like just hands down. And I don't like to watch the making of movies because for me, it takes away from it. But I did catch a few bits and pieces of the making of this movie. And it really intrigued me because I was like, oh my God, like, man, he just gives it his all. He puts everything in his stunts. So I had to see this in the theater, and it did not disappoint at all. I'm telling you, if you guys get a chance to see this, please see it in the theater, IMAX if possible. You will not be disappointed at all. So, again, I'm not going to give details because it's still new. It's only been in the theater for 2 weeks now. And I just want you to see it. Tell me what you think. Am I overhyped about this movie? I don't know. For me, it was really good. I've been on a winning streak with movies lately. You know, John Wick, Creed, this. Okay, I did see Beast at home, so that doesn't count. Let's just stick with Creed, John Wick, in this movie here. Beast is a whole other animal. Ha! Like what I did there, right? Me too. So definitely go see that. So with the previews, I just want to let you guys know that they have an Expendables coming out again. I think this is 4. Love Sylvester Stallone. I love Jason Statham. I think he's pretty good too, but love Sylvester. I think 50 is in there too. I don't think he is in there, but I've been following Sylvester Stallone's podcast on YouTube. He's pretty interesting. Him and his family, they're cute, little fun dynamic in there. Just thought I'd throw that in there. And he's also, John Statham is in Meg. It's a shark movie. I'm sure you guys might have seen Meg 1. Not great. It's not Sharknado, but definitely it's a catch it at home type movie. What else is coming out? Oh, they have a Bob Marley movie coming out next year. It looks pretty interesting. The guy that's playing Bob Marley, I think they could have found a better actor, but you know, hey, it is what it is. I think it'll be a good movie to catch. I'm kind of conflicted. I don't know if I would want to see it in a theater. I probably won't see it in a theater, but it didn't really look theater worthy. It looked good, but I don't know if I would pay money to sit in a theater to see it. I'm gonna say that, but it looked good. I'm definitely gonna watch it, but probably not in a theater. So those are the movies that are coming out that I found interesting. You know, I'm sure there were others that, you know, flashed by my eyes, but it just didn't catch me. It was just kind of like, meh, whatever. So yeah, that was my movie experience and my pre-movie experience earlier in the week, which, you know, I got 2 passes that I can still use because, you know, the other ones were refunded and I used that for today. And so now I get another movie for free, which is always good. So I hope you guys are staying cool, and I think I am going to end this here. I want you to remember to always stay intrigued, and until next time, bye.